So there you have it. That was the full process of me creating an artwork piece, Corrupted Twilight, that would originally take me about 8 hours to complete. I hope you enjoyed, and yeah, so do let me know down in the comments what would be your favorite part of it, because you probably have seen like how I experimented there a little bit, changing this and that, trying out this stuff, and then turning back to how it was, then painting from there, and so on and so forth. You can also help me out by disliking or liking the video, of course, subscribing and all that good stuff. And if you enjoyed, of course, and if you enjoy the content here, and you stay tuned for the next one, for the next time-lapse video, for the next artwork. Speaking of which, I'll show you now the little intro, little sneak peek into the next one. This was the Corrupted Twilight was environmental piece, and the next one I'm working on is more like a character driven illustration. That means a lot of juicy anatomy. Ooh, that's also one of my favorites to do, illustrating characters. I always wanted to be the environmental artists. I enjoyed like magical, mystical, kind of dark fantasy stuff, but I also enjoyed very much to illustrate characters, and all for the movies and games, books. So yeah, speaking of which, I was kind of like before, when I was like a full-time making a living from being a full-time artist, I did help out a lot of indie game studios. That's a different story for other time. I want to now show you the quick sneak peek into the next character illustration piece, the Necromancer King, Vlad the Fearless. And after that, by the end, I promised the bonus content, which will be, I will show you some useful tips. If you're an aspiring artist, if you wonder how I do things, so you want to try it out yourself, it might be useful for you. And as I said at the beginning of the video, generally speaking, in general, if you're curious how I do things, well, you will see now. Here we are. Okay, so I put additional web camera here, so you can see how I draw and paint. The interesting part here is, usually when you do traditionally, you use one hand, right? Maybe in the other hand you will just hold the other brushes, or for example, my one of the favorite medium for the drawing traditionally would be pencil and paper, charcoals, and graphic kind of stuff. And I did finish the art school, the graphic design, so it kind of grew onto me. When it comes to painting, it will be oils, and that's how I do my digital stuff as well. But when I do digitally, interesting part is, like, I just few days ago I figured this out, that I am actually using other hand constantly, like for zooming, like from getting the brush bigger and smaller. And maybe you've noticed in the videos how I very fast do, like hold on, let's change the brush. let's say to this one, how I fast go from this one to this one. So that's interesting. It's like almost like a DJ thing. I realize it's an actual skill, goddammit. Yeah, sometimes when I'm like really heavy into the zone, I go like really fast. Like I didn't even realize I'm doing that, but not important. Anyways, let's go to the earlier stage of this painting. Maybe somewhere here. Let's see if I have. Yeah, I'm gonna. Yeah, let's stay here. So let's take this one that you saw me using in this artwork piece, for example. So here you go. There we go. So say you are doing the environment work like you saw I'm doing, and you want to use it for the textures, to give it additional tasty textures, right, and make it believable, your artwork piece believable. You still have to be right, like quite sufficient, how do I say this, quite good at photo manipulation, and to, how I say that thing is called photo bashing, but initially it's like you're painting with photos. I remember in earlier stages of me figuring out the photo bashing wasn't very good. It was quite obvious I was using photos, and it was like copy paste, and it wasn't that good. So that takes time and skill, trials and error, like in everything. But I'll show you how I do manipulate photos and how I play with them. And it might look or seem easy, but if you do this way, after some practice, you might start to catch on it and eventually figure out your own way of doing things. So in Photoshop, you have like I go to filter here, then I go to stylize, and I click on oil paint. Let's wait for it to load a little bit. There we go. So I'm gonna uncheck this for you to be able to see how it is. Some of the, how do I explain this? Some of the graininess, let's say, is kind of lost, and that filter adds a little bit of like, it's like it is painted. So you're kind of like masking it, so to say. And here you can play with the amount of that thing. If you use it like, like really strong amount of it, the stylization and cleanliness, I personally don't like that, because it looks a little bit like it's AI thing, AI generated. And you don't want people to think your work is AI, but no matter what you do today, people think when something is good, people think it's AI anyways, like it's AI generated. And I'm holding my my tongue not to go raging and crying on that, because I'm so annoyed by that. It pains my heart, man. Like I got that many times, people, because I have really a lot of textures in my work. It was before the AI thing, it was making my artworks unique, and that was the thing I was asked for to do in, like, when I was doing artworks for indie games. Okay, never mind. I do a little bit like this. We have to reduce that graininess and have a little bit of that softer kind of look. It doesn't matter too much, because anyways you would want to change it a lot, paint, overpaint, and you know, manipulate the photo to the extent where it's kind of lost. And by the way, sorry for my lack of English is a little bit broken, and I haven't been recording myself for quite some time. So yeah, I will do that. It kind of helps me a little bit to start going with that. And then let's see, then I will go Control T. Okay, hold Control on keyboard, Control T for transforming the photo. Then you will have this kind of thing, these lines, and you can resize it, or say you click now, right click on it. And what this is the thing I love to do. I love to use a lot this warp thing here. You click warp. For you, if you in your Photoshop, it might be like you might see immediately like a grid. For me, in my Photoshop, for some reason, the grid is like doesn't exist. I have to like you see, it's like just one. This is actually very interesting now. I should have used it like this. Okay, never mind that. You can use it this way without grid, but I usually go, I want that grid thing so I could manipulate different parts of the photo. So I click here, 3 by 3 is the thing I usually go with, and now we have that grid thing I was speaking of, as you can see. And now I can manipulate it like this, like the additional part of it. Let's say it's like this. So now I click enter. All right. And now let's say I want this kind of holes or web things, kind of that thing on this building. This huge tower, never-ending tower, right? So let's Control T again to resize it and fit it right here. Let's say like this. Go to the opacity, reduce opacity a little bit so we can see how it goes. All right. Yeah, that will be it. And now we want the colors and values to fit in this painting. So we have here like grays, purples, a little bit of orange. And so what I tend to do is go here. I call this yin yang icon. So this is your adjustment layers in Photoshop. Click on there, go selective color. So here I want to manipulate first. I want to go to neutrals, which is gray. That is usually, oh, okay, hold on. I forgot one thing. So every time you want to affect only the photo, like here we want to affect only this photo, when you pick any adjustment layer, goes here, right? Then you want to hold on your keyboard Alt key and hover with mouse between that layer and adjustment layer, the photo layer and adjustment layer, until you see your mouse appearing like this with a little arrow and square thing, and then you click it, like left click, and then you see a little arrow on this layer. So that means it will affect, the adjustment layer will affect only that photo. So now we want to, like, I go to neutrals, select that, and you can see how it's affecting only that photo. So let's say it's like yeah, that will be good enough, pinkish kind of vibes or color. Then maybe the whites here are, or brights, well, the whites are too strong. we want to reduce that as well. Let's say that I will go with that darker blue. I could, you know, erase that highlight completely, but I do want a little bit of that, so that bluish kind of light. And now, because this would be, this tower or building is quite far away, it's impossible to be that contrasted. That means I need to affect its blackness, and we go to black and reduce the blackness of it like so. For example, if we want, we can add some color to the shadow of that texture. And usually when I have something, I usually use colors, dark colors and cold colors into the shadows. So I don't really use black. I use cooler, darker color, like dark blue, for example. That would be a good example. So let's do like reduce the yellow. That gives us a little bit of that kind of blueness, should I say. So there you have it. That's my favorite thing to mess with when it comes to fitting in with the colors and values on the photos. The other way you could go around with is it would be color balance. And by the way, if you already have an adjustment layer and you want another adjustment layer, you don't need to do again that step, holding Alt key and then you know, clicking on it so it affects only that photo. Because if you already have that adjustment layer that affects only that photo, you can just click on that layer, this like a photo, the photo thing, photo layer, and then if you, as I've said, let's try color balance, and you see it's automatically applied. Now this color balance affects only this photo, and here we can mess around like this, midtones, shadows, like this. But you see, it applies only the colors, and I can't manipulate here with the color balance. I can't manipulate the values and stuff. That's why I don't like to use color balance too much. Only sometimes when I wanna like experiment or add some colors, the color balance is good. But I usually do quite well with selective color adjustment layer, and that is enough. So now let's merge this two and have it into one layer. Let's call it I don't know, texture, for example. Now the next step is create a mask on it. So this here, this square with the little circle in it is a mask layer. You click on that, it creates, as you can see, a mask. And now, while having that mask selected, you hold on your keyboard, you hold Control and then click I, and then it fills the mask with black, and that's hiding the image. So if you do that again, it fills it with white and it reveals the photo. So Control I to hide and Control I to unhide again. So we want it hidden like this. And now on the basic brush, we will be using two colors, the black and the white. So we will now paint over the texture with black and white. So let me take my brush now, my pen I mean. The whiteness will reveal and the blackness will hide. So I'll show you real quick. And also on my pen here, there is two buttons. On one button, on one shortcut button, I put it so I could switch between. Look here, I can just one click and switch between two colors, the black and white, the black and white one, right? So let's do that. So let's say I want only this part, and with the blackness I will hide the parts of it like this. And let's say I want only this part to use. So it seems to me this brightness here, it's too much for this tower, for this building that's further away, plus it's like a dark tower. Think of Sauron's tower, is it Sauron's? Yeah, Sauron's. Tall black tower, right? So now again, I want to go to selective color, and now I'm gonna choose, it's probably whites. Yeah, it has a little bit of that. You see, we want it reduced completely. Let's see the neutrals, how it will do. So I usually go like this. I do these steps. Once I'm done manipulating the photo with colors and values, do a little bit of that painting to reveal just some parts of it. Then if I'm not, probably I wouldn't be like really satisfied, so I would go again, play with that thing. So you can see we kind of blended it in some more, and then merge those two. So now I would want to mess around further with this, to paint, and that's, oops, that's how I usually paint, or have photos help me out in my paintings. So you will see that painting is quite lost later on as you go on creating, painting and drawing. But you know, some of those photos, the textures from it, they can like spark ideas. So it can very often happen you're not really using the photos there, you're just kind of using it to spark some ideas, some interesting stuff that could happen in your painting. So there we have that, some of this. Can you see how I'm slowly building on that, creating some kind of thing? So there you go. Now a little bit like that to hide it further. It's still too bright for that, so I'll do this more. And the other thing you saw me often doing, and another tool that I used, especially when I use photos, would be the smudge brush. Now the smudge brush, I haven't seen artists, especially the ones that are doing like a painting digitally, use it the way I do. So the smudge brush, I use it like in traditional painting. You have those palette knives. So some are, you know, like the oil painters, they will use a palette knife, or maybe even artists that are using acrylic colors, they would use palette knives. Here I would use the smudge brush as a knife tool, because usually digital painters use a smudge brush to mix the color between, but for that I use mixer brush. So also that's a kind of rare thing for me, that I mean, I see very rarely people use mixer brush. For example, this dark fantasy, semi-popular or known dark fantasy artist Darius Kolzowski, I'm not sure, it's a Polish name. Maybe I butchered that last one. He's not using mixer brush, and he's using just the basic here, this one, and he usually uses smudge brush to blend in the colors. But for me, let's go to smudge brush. Here it is. I use the strength to 100%. So because for example, that Darius artist is using to blend in the colors, he's probably having the strength like something between, maybe let's say, I don't know, like 16%. I'll show you the difference. We have this one, right? And now let's take a smudge brush and you see how it blends beautifully, those two. But if you go with a strength of 100, you don't have that much of mixing and blending. You have this kind of thing. You see? And that way, to me, it looks like almost like a, you know, it's like using a palette knife. So I would use my smudge brush or palette knife to further play around with textures or with the photo I just placed to create some interesting details. Sometimes I would do a so-called art bash. Not a photo bash, but art bash. Because I take parts or bits from my previous artworks or unused artworks, but I have like some textures, and out of those textures I create something new, more interesting textures or interesting details. So you see, I'm just like playing around with stuff, and in the end it seems I didn't really even use that photo as a kind of like a whole, you know, whole stuff thing, but it did kind of spark something for me here, some kind of detail. So that is my way of doing things and how I paint the environmental work and have those interesting textures and details. Here you can see I used more of that whole thing from the photo to have like some kind of twisted, corrupt kind of thing in the sky with holes where the eyes are like kind of where the eyes are watching you, observing and stuff like that. So there you have it. I think that is very useful tip for photo bashing. So try it yourself. Try to, if you're creating environment piece, try the photo bashing technique, manipulate with the photos. You can always, you know, like when you're like when you have the passion for anything creative, it's like infinite possibilities. It's the never-ending passion. So, so you know, like sometimes I will just go outside and stare at a freaking wall, being amazed at the textures of my wall with the, I don't know, the materials of it. So I will zoom in at the wall, like some, you know, probably to some stranger outside I would seem like a freaking madman or lunatic or something, about like staring at the wall and taking a photo of a wall and like he's photographing a wall. So take a photos like that, and you know, it will probably inspire you, or you will see some things in the wall maybe. And if you're creating environmental piece like this, with a, you know, you can put the photos in you just took from your phone or camera, whatever you have at your disposal. Manipulate, learn the, you know, manipulation, photo manipulation that way. Play around with it, and you'll end up eventually. You realize you end up painting with photos, and it's so much fun. And also the way of how I use the smudge brush, I think it's very interesting. Like a palette knife, it creates it can create very interesting textures. Like you saw me even, oops, I think my Photoshop might be glitched right now. Yep. So one example, here, these paintings. So if I do this, I already have something interesting that I could, interesting textures, I could create something out of it. Oops. Then do this. So there you see, maybe now that's some kind of a tree or leftover from the tower, like that's been kind of like destroyed, like it's in ruins, like let's say it's half of this tower. So I'll probably maybe draw half of this door, like I mean archway, like from this that those towers have, like that. Let's have a little bit of that light from within the tower that it has, like so. And yeah, you see, that's usually my way, how I do things, how I mess around and about. So hopefully that was useful. Thank you very much for watching. And yeah, as I said, if you want to stay tuned for more, don't forget to subscribe and maybe turning on the notification bell so you won't miss the next video. Dislike or like the video, however you will. It helps me out greatly too, and appreciate it. I appreciate all the love you show, and yeah, feel free to comment down below. Also, I linked the background music I've been playing from the let's check again so I don't butcher the name, from Dopplify channel. He's amazing musical artist, doing that those juicy classical music, and yeah, it's just awesome. So as always, stay well, stay creative, and see you on the next video. Until then, take care. Ciao ciao.